Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to Chris and Matt Talk About That. That, of course, being Star Trek. You know, I was actually thinking after the recording session we did with our friend Cody that Sidetracked might have been a better name for our podcast.
That's funny. I had the exact same idea, and I Googled it, and there's no
Sidetracked. And we are so ADHD when it comes to talking about Star Trek that it might be...
I think that a good idea would be to use that if we review like a Star Trek movie or something not Star Trek related.
Yeah, Sidetracked, yeah. But I do want to make Sidetracked shirts. Like Chris and Matt talk about that. Sometimes we get sidetracked. All right.
I have been pleasantly surprised at how many listens we're getting on YouTube. It's kind of shocking me.
Yeah, well, you have to remember
50 listens or something. So I don't know if the algorithm is suggesting it to people or what.
You have to remember that anytime somebody clicks on it and listens on it for any amount of time, that is considered a view or a listen. And it also counts if somebody listens to 20% of it, stops, comes back, listens to more, stops, comes back. Those are all separate views as well. So, but people are coming back to it. People are listening to it. And we're up to all the way to 10 subscribers. We are in double digits, baby. Here we go. I can finally retire and give up this life.
We're still getting a little bit of downloads on Red Circle. I don't know. I was expecting, my expectations, my almost desire was for maybe 8 people to listen to this every week. So yeah,
no, I think I don't know. We are entertaining enough. We make thoughts occur in people's heads. I'm sure I have enraged people with some of the things I say. I'm sure you've enraged people with some of the things you say.
Hopefully.
And that is honestly what makes a good podcast. If you don't make people angry, if you don't get a reaction out of people, then it's not worth listening to. Yeah, exactly. So, today we're going to be talking about the 9th episode of Deep Space Nine. The title of the episode is The Passenger. The writer is Morgan Grendel. The teleplay is by Morgan Grendel and Robert Hewitt Wolf and Michael Piller. So we've got 3 people writing this as a screenplay. Interesting piece of... Sorry, go ahead.
I got something on the writer. So Morgan Grendel is one of the Hugo Award-winning writers for the TNG episode The Inner Light, which you discussed on a previous episode.
Fantastic episode.
Yeah, he wrote a few scripts before working on Star Trek that were for some procedural shows, which is a big hint to this episode.
This was one of those scripts.
As Jake and the Fat Man and 21 Jump Street. And he went on to become a writer and producer for Law & Order. And I sort of regret not asking our friend Mike on this episode because he's a huge fan of Law & Order and procedurals. And that is what this episode is. It is a by-the-book procedural.
It is, with a very sci-fi twist. So... I have a piece of trivia that's really interesting about this. I looked up the director of this episode because there's some interesting acting choices that are made in this episode. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this episode has an interesting production history.
The director for this episode is Paul Lynch. He directed 2 TNG episodes as well. I thought it was going to show up as bad episodes because I thought there was some direction given to a certain actor, we'll talk about it later, that I think did the scene poorly. He directed The Inner Light and Best of Both Worlds Part 1. So maybe not just a director issue there.
Oh, so the writer and director have worked together before then.
Yes, they have. So interesting thing. So this guy did Best of Both Worlds. He did The Inner Light. And I didn't get to how many other DS9 episodes he directed, but he's got some chops there, and he's done a lot of television from what I've seen.
Was it Best of Both the Worlds Part 1 or Part 2 or both?
It was Part 1. It said Season 3, Episode 26. Yeah. Part 2 isn't bad, but it's not nearly as strong as Part 1.
The first one, you can make an argument that it's the best Star Trek episode ever. You can make that argument.
It's very good. It would have been so interesting if Picard had died. It would have been so interesting. You know why? Because then we wouldn't have gotten Star Trek Picard. We would have gotten Star Trek Riker and Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes.
The Borg are the real heroes.
He's a good actor. He's a good director. He can write a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. Erotic syndrome, man. Anyway, so that's a little. Did you find any other trivia on this? I didn't spend a lot of time past that director thing. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, so the original version of the script had Tai Kajata, the female bounty hunter, as the person possessed by Vantika.
You can see that a little bit.
The idea was a cop chasing herself, so it was kind of a high concept type deal. And I think that's a good high concept, but I also think it was a good choice to make it a main character in Bashir.
Yes.
And speaking of
Spoiler.
Bashir, Alexander Siddig got the script on late notice and called this performance his biggest failure. And I get why you might say that, but I like that he went really strange and alien with his speaking. If I had any criticism, I think he should have leaned even more and taken an even bigger risk. But when I say that, and it's funny because apparently he did, and Rick Berman made him re-record his lines because he sounded too much like Bela Lugosi. And I would love to have heard the original line readings.
I wonder if they still exist somewhere.
And then Caitlin Brown, who plays Kajata, was awarded one of the roles in the TNG two-parter Gambit because of this episode. She does one a good job alien here. Crewman.
I also thought the Kobliad makeup was interesting, and we never see them again. But we do see this makeup again with a single forehead ridge. They show up in Voyager as a different species. It's not quite the same, but it's very, very similar.
That's one of my points I had that I thought about in this episode is how many humanoid aliens they show in Star Trek that are never mentioned. And there is an absurd amount of humanoid species in the Star Trek universe.
Well, in the canon of Star Trek, there was a progenitor species that seeded the whole galaxy with humanoid races. So it makes sense that there would be tons of humanoid races. I wish there were more non-humanoids, like Hortas and the Tholians and other very alien creatures, but it is what it is.
I agree. Budget.
Yep, definitely. So I think we've already shared a little bit of our overall thoughts on the episode, but I wanted to say that on the whole, I like this. I've said in the past, I'm a sucker for like a cop show or a procedural.
I was wondering if you were going to like this episode or not. I
liked it. I liked it to a point. There are rough spots, I will say.
But on the whole, I thought it was pretty episode. Okay. I almost feel guilty for liking it because it's almost not even like a Star Trek episode. But
I thought you were going to like it because there's some very TNG moments in this episode.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people I've read people's thoughts on this episode, and a lot of people say it's kind of a run-of-the-mill TNG episode.
Which, of course, means it's peak DS9, right?
Yes. So, yeah, this is a total procedural. It throws all the same procedural curveballs. Procedural, defined by the Cambridge Dictionary, is a television show, film, or story that includes a lot of detail about official legal or police methods and process. And this episode has that in spades. The procedurals I really like are like Matlock and Murder, She Wrote, and the format of these shows is that a crime is revealed in the teaser, then throughout the episode we're introduced to the characters involved with the crime, and this episode's the same way. And what I think the psychology of a procedural show is, it's sort of a game. When you're watching it, you're playing a game and you are competing against the writers. So you're trying to guess who the criminal is. It's you, the audience, playing against the episode writer, seeing if you can guess who done it before the writers reveal it. And some of the episodes make it obvious who the killer is. Others try to throw you off the scent. The security chief in this episode is meant to throw you off the scent.
Yeah, the security lieutenant that shows up and you think he's going to be a regular character and we never see him again. That guy?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of common procedural tropes that I remember from watching Matlock and Murder, She Wrote with my grandparents. If the guest star was recognizable, they were almost always the killer. if someone's a jerk, they are not going to be the killer. But if they're a really, really big jerk, then they probably are the killer.
Yeah.
And like people doing extremely guilty things like running from the cops are almost always innocent.
Yep.
And every episode ends with either Matlock or Angela Lansbury recapping the entire plot for the episode in flashbacks, which we don't get in this episode.
So I think that people could just catch up if they were watching a bunch of, they just watch the last 5 minutes of every episode and move on to catch up to wherever they're supposed to be currently.
Yeah.
So
it's
all right.
To put the puzzle together.
Yeah, I liked this episode. I like the procedural ones. I have a note later that I want a Lieutenant, what was his name? Pimmon. I want a Lieutenant Pimmon and Constable Odo procedural drama. I think that'd be a fun show. I think it'd be awesome.
Pimmon and the Squishy Man.
Pimmon and the Changelings sounds actually that could be a band.
That sounds like a good DS9 spin-off show on UPN.
UPN. Oh man, the United Paramount Network. All right, well let's get into the meat and potatoes of the episode here. So this teaser is Bashir being Bashir, not in his normal way, but Bashir being in love with himself as he usually is. We start off and Kira is in awe that Bashir has basically, in her view, brought somebody back from the dead. Bashir makes a crack about, well, tricorders are really good at detecting life, but they're not so great at detecting death, which I think is a weird line because if there's life, wouldn't they detect it? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It was a weird way they tried to put it on there. I guess there are more false negatives and false positives is what it's trying to get across, but it's weird. But
I think time machines are real because I think the writers are punishing you specifically for saying that you think Bashir is your favorite character.
I think you're right.
He is so ripe in this intro.
I think I've officially abandoned him as my favorite character, and I may have gone and embraced either O'Brien or Odo at this point. Hold me, make me feel better.
It is fitting for the theme. They needed to put him up on the pedestal so they could knock him down and humiliate him.
Yeah. And so they run across there's one moment in there where Kira's turning around. She's about to tear strips off of him because Kira does not take nonsense from anybody. And then they get a distress call, which saves Bashir from more humiliation, but humiliation that he might actually feel.
I did want to say they are really riding a line with Bashir in these early episodes. He could have been a Wesley. He is so unlikable through these first few episodes. Like Wesley is so bad in the first season that people wrote him off for the rest of the show because he is not that annoying for most of the seasons. He's so annoying in that first season.
Yeah.
It's just no more.
Yeah, it was. I agree. It hurts every time. I'm like, man, why did I like this guy again? I remember really liking this guy. Why do I hate him?
Better.
He must get better, or maybe I was just a bad person when I watched the show the first time. I don't know. Maybe I was reading books on game theory.
Bad, so I think it's a season 1 thing.
It must be. So they get a distress call from the Kobliad transport ship Rayab. They board the ship. It's on fire. There's a woman on the ground. She's in distress. She's very in and out and she says, hey, the pilot's dead. We got to get out of here. And Julian goes, oh, wait, there's another life sign behind this door. And she goes, don't open it. He started the fire. And like a good Starfleet doctor, he ignores her because his job is to preserve life wherever possible. And he opens the door, which interestingly enough, just magically knows on this alien ship where the override is. Just, it's under this panel. I'll push this circle and boom, the door opens up. Whatever.
There's a lot of that in Star Trek where people know how to run the panels in foreign languages.
Later on in this episode, lower the shields, and it's just a bunch of colored buttons. But he knows which colored button to push, so I don't know.
Yeah. That is a Starfleet vessel, at least.
It was a Federation vessel, not a Starfleet vessel, but yeah.
Okay.
It was a civilian ship. The people were in civilian clothes, but it's like their merchant marine. So anyway, moving on. The prisoner he's dying. And Bashir is talking about how the synaptic function is failing, and they're all very concerned. Kira comes in going, we have to get out of here. The ship's about to be unlivable. We need to get out of here now. Bashir goes to beam them all over to the Rio Grande, and Rayo Vantica grabs him by the throat and goes, make me live, which then it informs Alexander Siddig's performance for the rest of the episode, and he dies.
Yeah. I thought that was a badass line. That's gonna be my last line when I die. I'm gonna grab the doctor.
Make me live. It was delivered very well. Like, I thought it was great. And the slow, growly speech works in that case because he's dying of smoke inhalation, right? So, of course, he's gonna sound like that.
So I can think of a logical explanation of why she had him in captivity. I'm sure he had rights to a trial, but man, 20 years, you think she would have just blasted his dome off and saved us this whole ordeal, this whole episode.
Yeah. Well, she is trying to be a good cop, I think. And we see her in this episode when she decides to abandon that, basically, is this episode. Mm-hmm. Because I think this is... it's looking at the difference between police work and vigilantism a little bit. And she goes from, I'm a good cop to, nah, I'm a vigilante now because this guy cannot live because he's done so many terrible things.
So I had no memory of this episode at all.
Yeah,
and
same.
This next thing where we learn later is he is injecting Bashir with some kind of nanomachine under his fingernail.
Well, we don't learn that until like Act 4.
Right. But he's transferring his brain patterns into Bashir. My question to you is, do you consider this a form of passing consciousness?
So the way I look at it is, if there's something that is duplicating your consciousness somewhere else, it's not you that's there.
Right.
So I think that Rayo Vantica dies, and then a duplicate of him lives on in Bashir's brain in this episode.
I agree, because TNG has episodes where people's brains are put into machines.
Yeah,
and I view that the same way.
The original series.
That's not prolonging your life. You died, and then carbon copy of your consciousness, or not even your consciousness, just your brain patterns, is put into a machine or another life form. I don't think that is continuing your existence.
It's a new life form that thinks it's you, just like the person that comes out of the transporter.
And it's really, wanting to do that is so narcissistic to me. It's like the height of vanity, which is kind of a point I'll get into this in this episode. Because it's fitting, because Bashir is vain, right?
Yes. Very vain. There are some vanity themes in here for a lot of people. Maybe I missed something. Anyway.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
If we could have preserved the brain pattern of anyone historical, who would you want to speak to? Like as an AI kind of thing. But it's not just a recording of their writings. It's literally their brain patterns with their memories. See, I would want to talk to someone like Caesar. Like, I think philosophers like Socrates or someone like that would be kind of interesting, but we have
Teddy Roosevelt will be high on my list.
I like the idea of a historical person because the recording of history is so biased. So to actually get to talk to the person and what their actual memories were, I think that'd be kind of neat.
Maybe pull up Pontius Pilate and see what the big deal was back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that,
Yeah.
Muhammad. Oh, don't. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I might get. Well, no, it's not. I didn't draw anything, so I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Something about Charlie. I don't remember. So, but yeah. So I mean, it would be interesting to do that, but at the same time, I wouldn't trust that they would have the same. They wouldn't. They're not the same person, so I wouldn't trust that what they're saying is exactly what happened, right? Although, if it's a consciousness copy that was made through some kind of like time travel shenanigans. I don't know. That's a very interesting thought experiment. We're getting sidetracked again here. I think.
Do you think if we had that technology, it's not continuing someone's life? I think even a common people would understand that. But do you think it would be worthwhile to preserve people's brain patterns, or do you think it's a natural part of life that people should go away when they die forever?
I think that having people come stick around, I don't think that would be a good technology to have, because you know who would use it. It would be rich, powerful people would preserve people that they think are useful and keep them around forever. And we would not get progress. Right, because progress happens as people die and new ideas happen. One of the things that I'm very frustrated. Hang on, very very slightly political here. One of the things I'm very frustrated with our country today is that all the people running it are so old. They're all so old. I think that there should be, like, I don't know if it's 65 or 70 or whatever, but like at that point, sorry, you're out. You can't be in government anymore, and you have to be replaced by somebody who isn't ancient, somebody with new ideas, so we can move things along.
You don't want the FDR computer brain in charge of the country for
no,
1,000 years.
I don't. And that's something I thought of. If that technology was real, oh well, we'll just have this guy run the country forever. Or we'll have this person run the banking system forever. No, that's a bad idea. Change needs to happen. Change is how people evolve. It's how cultures evolve. It's how civilization evolves. It needs to happen. I think that I don't think it's a good thing for people to die early, but I think it's good that people are not immortal. If that makes sense.
Yep.
I also think it would be a very bad technology for people. People would abuse it if their loved ones were gone. Like if you lost a child, the temptation would be to try and copy their brain patterns and, oh, my kid's alive again, but it's not your kid. And it would be incredibly unhealthy. It would delay the grieving process. It would be bad. I hope this technology never happens. And unfortunately, people are already working on this kind of technology. They want it to happen. But it's not going to go the way people think. I think it's a bad thing. If I die, do not copy my brain. If I die, I want what is me to just go where it's supposed to go and not have some phantom of me haunting my descendants.
That's freezing my head. That's another issue. We'll do that, but
I don't think I'd do that either. I don't think I'd do that because nobody survives that. It's just put me in the ground or burn me and eject. Honestly, when I die, I want to be cremated and I want to be put on a ship and sent up into orbit. That's what I want. Because I don't think I'm going to get to space in my lifetime, but I think some part of me, I want it to go up there. That's on my list, right? And the second idea is I might do both. It's like burn some of me and the rest of me turn into a tree so my kids can visit me and like hang out. Right. I know Leela wants to be turned into a tree. She wants to be buried under a tree and have a tree grow over it like they do in Dune, and the Bene Gesserit do that, which is not where she got the idea, but I think it's a nice idea. Kind of a circle of life kind of thing, and you still have a connection to that plant and to the person. Anyway, sidetrack over. We get back to Deep Space Nine. Bashir wakes up Kajata. She wants to see Vantika's body and does not believe him when he's like, he's totally dead. She's like, no, he's done this before. Straight up stabs him with a scalpel. to make sure.
I burst out laughing when she did that. The camera cut is just immediately with her at the knife raised above her head, bringing it down into his chest. It's pretty humorous, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a little humorous, I think, but it gets the point across that Kajata is just not messing around. This is a big deal. He's very smart. She's been chasing him for 20 years. And even after stabbing him in the chest, says, I need a full DNA autopsy, whatever that means, and a scan of her ship to make sure that he's not hiding on board somewhere. And I think it's a great setup for...
Sorry, that moment where she stabs him this early in the episode, I was certain that she was the criminal and this guy was innocent.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we have no confirmation on who these people are. They're just putting... The Starfleet's just putting their trust into this woman who stabs corpses, by the way, that she's the good guy and he's the bad guy. So at this point, I'm like, oh, man.
To be fair, the bad guy did grab Bashir by the throat. They do have some evidence of bad behavior from this guy. And I'm assuming that they checked the background of people because they have their magic subspace computers that can talk to computers dozens of light years away and get confirmations of identification and stuff. So,
but see that choking thing? I thought that's the game of the procedural, right? I was like, oh, the choking thing's to throw us off. He's actually the good guy.
So he wrote procedural, so he knows the game. So he's messing with you, Matt.
Yeah,
he's fighting against you.
Yeah, it is. He beat me.
I fooled me too. I thought Kajata was the bad guy somehow. Then we move over to Quark's. Now it's Quark's turn to kind of cringily flirt with Dax, but he doesn't do it in a way that makes me hate him.
His game is better than Bashir's, that's for sure.
Yes, the space goblin has better game than Bashir. And Quark, inside, you can tell he accepts that he's not going to have any kind of romantic relationship with Dax. But his words are, it's good to want things. And I didn't know. I think I got that phrase from Star Trek. Because I tell my kids all the time when they're, I want this, I want that. I'll look at them like, it's good to want things. I'm not going to give it to you, but it's good to want things.
Yeah.
So we were watching it all together just this morning with the kids, and it's good to want things. And Leela goes, hey kids, where do you think your dad got that phrase from? And I thought to myself, wow, did I? Because I have some vague memories of this episode. I remembered Kajata vaguely, her character, because she sticks. She's a good actress and she sticks. Her character kind of sticks in your mind a little bit. But I don't remember stealing that on purpose from Star Trek. But it was funny that line was in there. I actually like this scene, the Quark Odo talking about companionship and what it means, and it was just another good. It's Quark and Odo. It's always good when it's Quark and Odo. But this scene isn't pointless because it's there to set up the fact that there's a new Starfleet security officer who's been assigned to the station, and he overhears Odo talking about the Diridium shipment that's coming in, because Odo's like, "We know, what are your plans for the Diridium shipment?" And Quark, "But Diridium shipment? What do you mean? I'm just a businessman, right?" And Primin hears him talking about it and confronts Odo in the second kind of throw you off the procedural trail thing. I see your hand up, or you want to say something.
So I had a note on that whole dynamic with Dax and Odo. So they showed Odo's attracted to Dax, right? Made pretty obvious. The dynamic of Odo, this sentient liquid goo who shapes himself into a hollow man, being attracted to humanoids is strange to me. If I placed you in a planet of aliens that were enormous sentient jellyfish, do you think you would eventually find them attractive?
I think I would be able to tell which ones were considered attractive by their own species. I don't think I would ever be like, come here, jellyfish, give me a kiss. But I didn't get a sexual desire out of Odo in that. I think he is attracted to people based on the person, not necessarily off some biological thing. That is ruined in later episodes, by the way. But I
think he finds her physically attractive. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I don't know that physical attractiveness is that important to Odo, because he, out of anyone, knows how transitory that is. It's.
I agree.
No one is attractive forever.
That I would think he would think that way, but the way the scene goes, it makes him seem like he thinks she's hot.
Well, I don't know. I didn't get that so much. I can see where you're coming from with that. I don't know. I might consult the wife on this one. This could be me doing my normal ADHD thing and missing cues that are normal social cues to people. It could also just be you going, Dax is hot, and obviously Odo thinks Dax is hot too. So it could go either way there. But I like that scene.
When we meet Primin, I was immediately thinking like, oh man, it'll be so lame if this is the bad guy. It's way too predictable. We're obviously not meant to like him off the bat. The balance of how they wrote him was kind of perfect in my opinion.
He did well.
And he's totally correct, by the way.
Yes. Well,
his criticism of Odo is totally correct to me. He's like a Captain Jellicoe kind of figure a little bit.
He's different
from TNG.
He did remind me of Jellicoe a little bit. He even has the same kind of down-homey southern feel to him that Jellicoe does. So I guess all the people from the South, part of the, what do they call it in Star Trek, the North American Protectorate, from the Southern USA, are all that's where all your sticklers come from. Is that part of the world, I guess. I thought watching this going, wow, it feels like they're introducing Primin as a new recurring character, is what it felt like in this episode.
Yeah.
And I didn't look it up, but I am 99.9% sure we never see him again. In fact, I think he's wearing O'Brien's uniform.
Like literally.
I'm not sure.
Like
I think it might actually be O'Brien's I think it might actually be Cole Meany's uniform he's wearing, because he's about the same shape and size as Cole Meany.
Maybe it was a threat to Cole Meany where it's like, hey, if you want to keep doing movies, look, buddy, we can replace you.
I don't know. Maybe. Cole Meany's way better than this guy was, but he was good.
Oh, yeah,
I liked him.
Way better.
I liked the actor. But when the guy comes up, I'm Lieutenant Primmins, I'm like, who? They were like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Who?
Yeah.
Let's see. And immediately after that, we go to, is it Ops that we go to? Yeah, because he says that the body's Vanica and he is dead. Vanica's dead. I think Kajata is Kajata on the bridge at this point, telling him that he's not dead.
So Sisko assigns Odo and Primin to work together on security for the shipment, and Odo and Primin clash over methods.
Yes.
And there's a scene where Sisko kind of scolds Primin, and I liked this scene. Sisko it's a good scene, but I also was like, man, Sisko, you're kind of out of line. This guy's not doing anything wrong.
Well, kind of. Because Sisko is absolutely correct. They're on a Bajoran space station. They're to help administrate the Bajoran space station. They're not there to take over the station, per se. The majority of the crew on the station are still Bajorans. That's why you don't see a lot of Starfleet uniforms. I don't know what the actual makeup is, but I would be surprised if it was more than 20% of the actual crew on the station were Starfleet officers. These guys they're observers in Vietnam, basically, right? They're teaching them how to do things, they're running things for them, but they're not technically in charge.
So
but I like that scene. Sorry,
we
go ahead.
Get another scene where Primin apologizes to Odo, and they're going to go over the security detail for what's the material that they're getting? It's some kind of medical material. Duridium,
which apparently is also like radioactive or explosive or something. I don't know. It's another magical Starfleet material that shouldn't be used for what it's used for, but you know, it works for the plot.
But this scene,
like helps them reproduce or something.
Everything in a procedural is a game, and it's reverse psychology, or is it obvious and you're trying to guess? So the scene where Premin apologizes to Odo, it's really a reverse psychology. So someone that's watched a lot of TV, I immediately think like, oh, this is a setup. Primin's the bad guy. We're meant to feel sympathetic for him now. That must mean he actually is the bad guy. It's
I had a little
procedurals are such mental games.
I had a little bit of that, but I also still thought that it felt like Kajata was, because she shows up right at the end of that scene.
She was my number one suspect through the whole thing.
I liked that was the most TNG. The Odo and Primin interaction was the most TNG part of the episode for me, because they get off on the wrong foot. They both get their proverbial pee-pees slapped by their commanding officer, and then they learn to work together and even respect each other. I don't think they ever really like each other, but they respect each other's methods, to the point where Primin actually tells Odo, hey, I took a page out of your book and tried to think like you for this, and actually saves the station from being shut down for an hour later on. And Odo gives Primin props for that. It was just a very little micro arc that felt very TNG and gave me happy warm fuzzies. I was like, hey, this is great. I like this.
They're both very polite and both very competent. So yes, it's very TNG. That's well said.
Yeah, they're almost to that hyper competent level that you see everybody in TNG being, except for Wesley when it comes to talking to people on the bridge. But he was written that way. It's not his fault. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way. Let's see. All right. So they are starting to.
This is when we get the computer glitch.
Go over the methods. The computer glitch happens. Sorry, I lost my place in the overview because I looked down. My mistake. I will just stare endlessly at this paper. Computer glitch happens, and Kajata says, "Hey, Vanica did this," and the line Bashir has in this. This is exactly how Vanica thinks. And Bashir looks, there's like, according to the body we have in our stasis chamber, Vanica stopped thinking over 24 hours ago. I was like, that's great. It's a great line, and it's a great way to set up the suspicion of her and to make the audience want to dismiss that Vanica could possibly be the actual bad guy here.
So the first time I watched this, I was thinking, or I should say the second time, when I knew Bashir was Vatica, did Vatica set this device up before he got to DS9, or did he take over Bashir's consciousness almost immediately?
It is kind of a hole in the plot, because it's implied that he can't take over Bashir unless Bashir is asleep. Maybe that's just without Bashir noticing. I don't know. But it's also implied that he has an accomplice who turns out to be Quark, sort of. But maybe he had another one who set stuff up. I don't know. It's hard to say. It could be that he had set things up in advance to get things, and things are going according to plan, even though he's dead now. Because let's be honest, it's not Vanica.
My understanding watching this episode, and tell me if you disagree, is that the scenes where Bashir is in is Vatica pretending to be Bashir. And the reason I think that is a perfect fit is because Vatica is himself a doctor. So treating patients and whatnot. And we know he has Bashir's thoughts and memories in his head that he can access because he accesses the ship's security.
Yes, he does.
So I think what we're seeing, I think we stop seeing Bashir after the cold open. I don't think we see Bashir after that until the end of the episode.
Huh. Interesting. I didn't pick up on that, but that's neat to think about it that way. I thought, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just him the whole time. The real Vanica was the Bashir we met along the way. Huh. Well, that's neat. Okay, so
and it's kind of fitting because they're both like really vain. That's why I like that they changed it from her being, because in the original script it's her that's the Kajada that's possessed.
Yeah.
I like this plot of it being Bashir who's possessed because he has the same kind of vain mentality, and it's almost,
and so nobody notices. Nobody notices that he's not himself.
Right. And he,
to be fair, nobody noticed when he was asleep during Q list, so he was asleep for 2 days. Nobody noticed that either. I think he's just not a very noticeable person.
So he gets possessed by someone that's even more vain than him, even more narcissistic, and it gives him a kind of a self-reflection to where he's humiliated at the end.
Yeah. Hey, maybe this is the beginning of the character arc to turn Bashir into the character I like. Maybe.
I think it is.
Maybe.
And like I said, I do not remember Bashir being this unlikable, so I have to think he gets better in later seasons. He has to, right?
He must get better. Oh, man. It's nothing like being embarrassed by your past self, right? I like Bashir. Leela was telling me, you like this guy? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't like this guy.
I like my memory of him.
I like my memory of him. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. What did I do wrong? Yeah. So, in moving on, they meet up in ops with Kajada's up there. And we already talked about how Bashir shuts her down, and the whole crew investigates Vanica's belongings and the ship, possible accomplices. Odo and Primin are still smashing faces into each other, trying to figure out who's in charge of the Deridium shipment. And actually, was it in this point that I think it's at this point that Sisko tells Odo that he's in charge. And I thought it was there's a good moment where Odo is righteously frustrated. He's rightfully frustrated that someone has come in and it seems like they're trying to take over. And Sisko's like, well, you guys are gonna have to get along. And Odo goes, well, tell him that. And Sisko's like, I did. And it pulls Odo up short. This is a scene of good leadership by Sisko, because he's yanking both of their chains and be like, hey,
yeah,
play nice. Got to work together, and you're in charge for joint operations. But implying that if it's a Starfleet only thing, you got to listen to Primin. But for joint operations, you're in charge as a Bajoran station. And Odo, who is a very Leela described him as a very huffy person.
Oh yeah,
goes, I can live with that, And I like Odo a lot. And there's a great line in here about Sisko telling Odo that he likes him because he always knows where he stands with Odo. You never have to second guess, which reinforces that dialogue he has in past prologue about never being able to come up with pretext. Don't like pretext. Just say pretense. Yes. So it's a good scene that reinforces Odo's character.
If this was a Law and Order episode, it would be the police chief scolding the two detectives working on the case.
Yes, something like that. Like I said, I want an Odo and Primin detective show. I think it'd be great. Unfortunately, Rene Auberjonois is dead, but yeah. I'm sure we can find somebody who could play Odo.
That would have been a great UPN show.
Yeah, it would have. It would have been awesome. Do it at Sisko's jumped into the lava caves because TV can't have a father stay with his son. So Kira runs DS9. O'Brien finally gets promoted to like ensign or something, and Odo and Primin just run a security thing. Like I would watch the heck out of that show. It would be great.
Oh yeah.
Then we go to Quarks, and I think this is great. It's just a great little thing. They're cleaning the bar, right? And Quark goes, you call this clean? I found this and this. How, if you don't pay attention and clean things, how are we going to find things that people leave behind that might be valuable? Explaining why Ferengi clean things. They don't clean things to make things clean. They clean things to find things people have left behind. I found a coin. I found an earring. Oh, look, there's a little strip of latinum here that nobody noticed. They dropped out of their pocket. I'm keeping this. You guys get out of here. It was awesome. It was good Ferengi world building that was done in a humorous way. And then Quark gets put into a chokehold by a mysterious stranger who's talking like this. And you can totally not tell that it's a British accent, and it's definitely not Bashir. You actually see Bashir's face.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't even realize it was Bashir the first time I watched it. And the second time, you straight up can see that it's Bashir. If you see his face, you can see him.
Yeah, it's done very quickly. It's intentionally done, right? But this is the first hint, right?
It's interesting to see TV sets that you are so used to seeing over and over and seeing them empty or seeing them lit differently. It's such a strange feeling to me. Like the end of the television show, The Fresh Prince, it's a famous meme picture of him standing in the set of the house and there's no furniture because they're moving out. And it's to show that it's over. And it's just interesting. You're so used to us seeing a visual over and over. Kind of like Star Trek Generations. The idea of that movie was, well, we have to make it look differently. You know, we light this so brightly for TV. So for the movie, they give it all this dark, moody lighting. Now, granted, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like, what, did the lights break? But yeah, it is interesting to see.
I like it in 10 Forward when the sun's shining in and they've got like that golden light coming in. Those are awesome scenes. I love them. It's weird when it's like the bridge and it's dark. Like this place is lit up brighter than a Walmart at midnight. All right. Like, come on. The bridge is well lit. I'm sorry, guys. It is very well lit. Why? Apparently, maybe they were low on antimatter and they just had to turn the lights down a little bit to save some power. Maybe that's what it was. It's got to cost a lot of antimatter to turn the lights on that ship. Yeah, for sure. For Voyager, it was their power bill. Yeah, they're definitely not just Man, it would be interesting to see a show where a Galaxy class ship just gets thrown out across the galaxy like Voyager did, and watch it have zero problems ever.
They just get home. Yeah.
People try to mess with them. They just they blow them apart and just keep going. Playing the holodeck, Zero power issues.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to trade stuff? Okay, well, half the ship is empty, so we'll just fill up with stuff that people might want valuable. And now we're rich.
Yeah.
There's a reason they had to do Voyager on a small ship.
Galaxy class is the best class.
Oh, it is. It is. I want to live on a Galaxy class ship. Okay, so you were talking about the Quark's set, looking different in the dark. And I have a note from later that the Quark set is just so versatile. It can feel warm and welcoming and happy. It can be just like people are having fun. It can be a courthouse, right? They use it as a courthouse and it doesn't feel like an auction house. And it can feel dark and threatening as well. It's such a good set. I keep coming back to this. The DS9 sets are fantastic. It might be peak Star Trek set design. It might be.
And it's sort of the magic of film, just where you place the camera and how you light it
for sure
can totally change the feeling of what you're watching. It's like that famous clip of Alfred Hitchcock talking about film editing, where you take a picture of an old man smiling and you edit a clip of a child afterwards and you think like, oh, this is this kind old grandpa. But then if you take that same exact video of the old man and put a picture of a beautiful woman after it, you think like, oh, this old creepy man. Just that little bit of editing can totally change your perspective on someone. So
which is something to really, really remember, everyone listening to my voice. When you see a short clip of a video on social media telling you to think something, remember how easy it is to manipulate video to make you think something.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not telling you what to think, but just be aware it's very easy for me to edit some videos. I could do this, edit some videos together to make people think the things I want them to think. Not necessarily change their mind, but have an impression of something. It's so important to remember that. Question everything, all right?
This is why you should only read books. Turn this podcast right off. Right, turn it off right now and go read a book.
Are you telling them what to do and what to think? How dare you? I'm going to edit this and make it to where none of you like Matt, okay? Matt is the creepy old guy staring at the woman. He's staring at Jedzia Dax, smiling right now, and he's going to follow her to her quarters. This is
you
what's
don't
happening.
need to edit anything for that. That's just true. Well, not the following. Not that last part. Not that
Matt
last
is Julian
part.
Bashir. You too late. Too late.
Oh,
You're done.
No.
Somebody call the cops. He's a predator.
No.
You're canceled. Next time on Chris and Leela talk about that.
We talk about the ongoing trial.
Matt is asking if I can bring him a toothbrush. Oh, man. So anyway, so they're searching in the bar. It's a dark bar. Vanica controlling Bashir puts Quark in a chokehold, is like, you need to get all this stuff together. And Quark's like, I thought you were dead. And I think it's so interesting that Vanica says not quite, implying that he thinks that he's basically dead as well.
Interesting.
I thought that was a bit of good writing. I think on the whole, the writing in this episode is excellent. I don't think there's really any bad writing in this episode. I think it's very, very well done, very well written.
Well, we'll get to it at the end when we pick a scene to delete. I skipped through this episode, I'm not kidding, 5 times scanning, trying to think of a scene to delete because everything is so tight.
It's very tightly done. Yeah. Yep. I have the same struggle.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we get there. But yeah, so let's see. Bashir is talking to Kajada about the DNA results, I think, at this point, and she reveals she's using an alpha wave inducer because she can't sleep. This is another breadcrumb trying to point to Kajada as the bad guy, implying that when she's sleeping, that Vanica is controlling her, right? So
before that, we get a scene where Dax has a theory of the synaptic pattern displacement.
Is that before this?
Maybe I'm wrong on my notes, but I thought that was before.
Maybe I might have things out of order. Anyway,
I think I have it wrong because eventually
I think they show Kajada and Bashir talking first because he's completed the DNA analysis and he said every single test. No, this is first because they call Bashir. Dax calls Bashir to go give a medical opinion, to present her theory of this synaptic pattern displacement stuff she's talking about. So Kajada is in the infirmary getting the results of the DNA scan. Hey, look, it's not a clone. That is Vanica's body. He is dead as a doornail. He's not around anymore. You're being paranoid. And she says she can't sleep and she's using an alpha wave inducer to make herself sleep, which he goes, well, you got to be careful with those because they're only meant for partial use, right? This is one of the things where I was thinking, this is one of the scenes that made me feel like it's not Vanica all the time. I don't know. Because it's a very Bashir thing to say, you know? So Vanica clearly has the access to Bashir's personality, not just his thoughts or not just his knowledge, right?
Well, in that little moment where she has that line about her sleeping problem, that's when I was like, oh my goodness, it's so obviously her. And that line serves no narrative purpose other than just to throw you off the scent of who the criminal is.
So it's the writer giving you a curveball there. So Dax has a theory that because they find a chip on the ship that has a pattern of a humanoid brain in it, and she presents a theory to Julian of synaptic pattern displacement, putting a consciousness from one body into another. And there's a cool Star Trek 3 reference in this because Bashir says, I've never heard of anyone doing it out of Vulcan mind melds, going, oh, yep, because Spock totally hijacked McCoy's brain. he also says something that's absolutely not true. Humanoids only use a small part of their brain. Untrue.
Yeah,
we use all of our brain.
Tale.
We just don't use it all at the same time. We do have some excess capacity, but we continue to fill that capacity. We don't have extra parts, right? Well, our appendix kind of, except that's not necessarily an extra part either. Anyway, moving on. This is when it's kind of, okay, so Vantika is inside somebody. And then you go back and you think of Kajata, how she's been acting, you go, it's her. Vantika's inside Kajata. I know it. And the crew thinks of this too, and Cisco restricts her computer access. And Odo's got a great line. He was like, we got to cut her out of the computer access. And is it Kira? Who was like, what are we going to tell her? And Odo's like, nothing. Send her to me. She'll figure it out, then send her to me. Odo loves giving people bad news. Odo gets off on giving people bad news. He loves it so much. He loves crushing people's dreams. Nancy. He loves it.
Nancy.
And he revels in that fact.
There's a moment in this when Odo says that Kajata has to be left out of the security plans. You can see Bashir grin and says she won't like that. To me, that's Vantika to me.
That's fair. Yeah. Oh, we did skip over a part because there was a reason for that computer glitch earlier that triggers all of the investigations and stuff, because they had when they had that computer glitch earlier is because of what do they call it? A subspace shunt that overrode their systems and shut everything down for a little bit. And that's how he was able to get the Duridium shipment information of when it was arriving, how it was arriving, all that stuff. So that way Vantika could plan. So that's necessary before we move on a little farther. Frustrated, Kajata conducts her own kind of rogue investigation. She sneaks into Quark's while Quark is hiring mercenaries. So to be fair to Kajata, she's on point. She's going right to where she needs to be. And if she had been a little bit more lucky and not gotten shoved over the balcony by Vantika, she would have found out Quark. And I think Quark would be in prison. That would be the end of Quark. Because let's be honest, hiring mercenaries to take over Federation transport, don't care how nice your bar is, you're going to prison. Maybe on Bajor instead of Federation prison, but
this is the scene where it eliminates Kajata as the prime suspect, and then we're kind of, I think at this point we're supposed to think it's Primin primarily.
Yeah, because they don't know where Primin is. They're like, where's Primin? He's not where he's supposed to be.
Quark is straight up evil in this episode in a real kind of bad way. He's a criminal.
Quark's moral compass follows profit.
Yeah. I mean, he's stealing medical goods.
Follows profit.
He's stealing medical goods. It's so bad.
Yep.
There's no justification or excuses that you can make for Quark in this episode. Like what he's doing.
He just wants to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very glad that it didn't go well.
Yeah.
So Kajata doesn't die falling from a third story of a bar, which is amazing. That shot of her falling was actually really well done. It looks like she falls.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a wire work. I mean,
it's two shots.
I think it's two shots, but I believe it. Like, obviously she fell into a cushion, but she's actually falling. I bought it. The scream's a little weird. Oh, that the scream was strange to me, but everything else was great. They've just wonderfully done.
Well, this scene where she falls, do you think that the medical team, let me think how to put this. How does the Starfleet on DS9 not know that Quark is an accomplice to murder? Because he is legitimately, in this episode, an accomplice to murder. How does Starfleet not figure that out? I mean, I'm guessing all these bad guys that are in Quark's bar run away before any medical people get there, but you'd think they're on a small ship. It's the 24th century. Would they not be able to? And Odo suspects him of everything. I mean, I'm nitpicking at this point, but you'd think they would.
it's hard to prove that somebody was in a place for a nefarious purpose unless you have some corroborating evidence that they were in there for a nefarious purpose, right? They can absolutely find out everybody who was in that bar, but think of how many people come in and out of that bar every single day, right? Literally everybody goes to Quark's. So that eliminates like DNA evidence, right?
Well, I guess we do have it established that the station just does not have the capability to track people.
Yes.
Because if it did, you would have, I mean, I guess there's just no security that's just something you have to overlook. There's no security cameras in Deep Space Nine. They have no ability to track anybody.
In the 90s, in the United States, where this show is made, we did not live in a surveillance state yet.
Yeah.
It is normal to us now to be on camera all the time. It is normal to be thought of being tracked all the time, which, by the way, is wild to me that that's just normal. But they didn't think that way because that's not the way things were. So they don't write that way. That's just how it is.
Right, because I think in reality they would have some kind of video of Quark and these guys going to meet Bashir at the ship.
Yeah, I like outside the runabout. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They would have seen Quark. He must have disabled the security grid or something because Quark literally walks them to the runabout.
Yeah.
He would get caught.
They would have evidence. Yeah.
Okay. So I changed my mind. There is a little bit of bad writing right there. That is internally inconsistent with technology that we've seen in the past because we actually see cameras that lead to the docking ports. At least cameras, because Odo pulls them up at one point in one of the earlier episodes. The security grid. So, yeah, Quark must have disabled it with the Cardassian security rods that he has in his bar or something. They should have done a scene about that where he disables the cameras. That's the only hole there that they need to close. Mm-hmm. Other than the fact that you can't actually copy paste personality into other human beings, but whatever. It's science fiction.
Yeah.
So, she says that Kajata says Vantika pushed her over the balcony. And so at this point, they're like, okay, she's not the host body because she didn't jump off herself. So what's going on? Dax is looking at Vantika's corpse, and underneath his fingernails, she finds a microscopic generator capable of transmitting a neural pattern via direct touch. This is when the audience goes, oh, it's Bashir.
Yeah.
Yep. Except for the very dimmest people around. Because everyone's going to be, oh, he got grabbed by the throat. Claude is he literally grabbed like this, not like this. I'm holding my throat right now. I'm giving Matt a show. He doesn't grab it by wrapping his hand around his throat. He grabs it by clawing around the throat purposefully to get the fingernail generator in there so he could do the copy paste into Bashir. And she tells Sisko about this. Odo's talking about finalizing security plans, finds out that Primin is not where he's supposed to be, which is them trying to throw you off the scent one more time. And Quark is leading the mercenaries to the runabout. Right? They're leading the mercenaries to the runabout. He opens the door and goes, oh, I'm so sorry. And the big reveal is that it's Bashir. Right.
And it's the Rio Grande that we
it's the Rio Grande
in the previous episode.
Rio Grande. I remember one of the other runabout names at the Yangtze. It's a Chinese river.
Chinese river, right?
Yep. It's all rivers all the way. You'll notice it every time you see a runabout now when they tell you the name of it. You're like, hey, that's a river too. I think it's a really cool thing. That's a real thing that people do in navies today. You'll get a class of ships and they have a theme for the name. It's fun. I like doing it when I'm doing like RPGs or something else. Anyway, sidetracked. So Dax goes
get the reveal, right?
Yes, and Dax goes to the infirmary to find Bashir's missing, and his comm badge is in the infirmary. And Odo finds Primin digging through the guts of the station because O'Brien's still not in this episode. who we talked about this earlier, that he took a cue from Odo, and Odo's like, no, I thought of that. And he goes, yeah, but I went one step further and I found this. And Odo goes, well, I guess I do respect you after all. And this eliminates Primin.
Subspace shunt things.
Yes. Crossover shunt, I think is what they called it. And they say it was attached to the Waste Reclamation Center, which isn't considered a critical system. I disagree. I think that waste reclamation is incredibly important on a space station.
Number one, maybe, above the shields.
I think that if you don't have waste reclamation, you're going to have a real bad time really fast.
I will say I like the main mercenary. His name's Durg. I like how that actor plays it, and I like the makeup. I like his speaking cadence that he does. I like
that Alexander Siddig copies poorly. Everybody who's a bad guy talks like this in this episode. They all have gravelly voices, and they speak slowly with very sharp diction. It's that's why I thought originally it was solely a director choice, because clearly the director believes that that's how bad guys talk. So, I mean, it could also be part of the procedural thing, because in procedurals, bad guys, you want them to sound like bad guys after the reveal anyway.
When I watched this, my interpretation was that Bashir is that's the thing. Kajada doesn't speak that way, but I thought he was trying to sound alien and strange.
Vantika, not Kajada.
Well, no, I'm saying Kajada is the same species as Vantika, so you would think that she would also speak strangely, right? But she doesn't. So, because my initial watching this, I kind of felt that Alexander Siddig, what he's trying to do is speak like in a very alien tone. But apparently
I think he's trying to show that somebody else is puppeting him and trying to speak like they used to speak, right? I think that's what he's trying to do. Yeah.
And they specifically choose a very like alien mode of speaking, which is interesting because, like I said, I would love to hear how he originally did it, where supposedly it sounds like Bela Lugosi, because maybe he was just trying to sound evil, you know?
Yeah.
And Berman's like, man, you're doing like
you're not doing a good job.
Mustache twirling bad guy impression. You're going to need to redo this.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear it, because maybe Berman's right. Maybe I'd see it and be like, oh boy, this is bad.
I can't imagine how it could be worse than what is actually in the episode. It's bad. Honestly, all he needed to do is talk twice as fast as he was talking, and it wouldn't be a problem.
I can't argue with you on like an objective basis, but I subjectively like how weird the Bashir performance is. I knew you weren't going to like it, and I don't think most people watching this are going to like it, but for some reason it's so alien and out there. Like I said, I wish he'd even gone even more strange with it, like leaned into it, talked even slower, like really just got real alien and weird with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I'm alone on this.
Yeah. We're skipping ahead a little bit. So basically the Duridian freighter arrives, the runabout that Bashir Vantika has commandeered launches without being authorized. Sisko goes, oh, okay, the intercept's happening. And they know something's going on, so they make a plan. We cut over to the runabout, or the freighter, which the freighter set's great, by the way. The set of the freighter bridge. I don't know what ship set they're reusing here, but it looks great because it's a Federation ship, but it's not a Starfleet ship. So everything looks like LCARs, but nobody's wearing uniforms. It's a little dimly lit, but it's clean and it's a functional setup. I thought it was great. The mercenaries beam aboard, straight up kill everybody. Just murder them. No stun.
You know what set it reminds me of? Do you remember when Data commands a ship when they're putting up a net to catch the Romulans?
Oh, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that
look like that set. By the way, it's stupid that they used a set other than a Galaxy-class bridge for that set, because he's on a Nebula-class ship, and the saucer section is functionally identical to a Galaxy-class. Why would the bridge look any different? That would have
confused audiences so much.
Painted blue, put different lights on it. But it should look, at least the shape should look like the Enterprise bridge, right? Yeah. And it can be done. Look at Star Trek II with the Reliant and the Enterprise. those bridges in Star Trek 2 are very different. It's the same set.
And this scene, though, is got to be one of the most violent scenes I've ever seen in Star Trek.
They straight up just murder people.
Yeah, it's just violent murder on TV. Now, granted, there's no blood, but man, it's real cold-blooded murder of completely, not just innocent people that are doing something really good. They're taking a risk going to this other quadrant to get medical supplies to help someone. To
help thousands of people lengthen their lives or procreate or whatever it was they said that they needed the Duridium for. And they get phasered to death for their, like, they didn't even stun them. They just murder them. And Vantika's even telling them, hey, go clear out the rest of the crew. And if they resist, kill them. Unlike these guys where they didn't even give them a chance to surrender. They just shoot them dead. Proving once again, this is not your dad's Star Trek.
Did you notice one of the guns that they use is the original series Starfleet phaser? With the communicator on it and everything. It's the exact same prop with no alteration that I could notice. And it's shooting like a purple beam with lightning.
It makes sense that you might see phasers, like old Starfleet phasers being used. Because, I mean, if you're using it against people, a gun's a gun, man,
Yeah,
So,
like old
I don't mind them using that
surplus.
Prop. I didn't notice that.
Maybe Starfleet is like the United States. They sell their surplus weapons. That'd be so.
I don't know.
They are the United States.
What also can't. It probably also. It also in a world with replicators, it can't be that hard to get a hold of a phaser.
Yeah,
and you can probably make your energy weapon look like anything you want. So maybe the guy's just a fan of old Starfleet weapons. We don't know. It's a kind of a cool
great theory. I love that theory. Yeah. He's like me. He's a firearms fan.
he's a gun bro, and he's just
he loves the vintage
Starfleet phaser from the 2360s is the 2260s is the peak of firearm direct energy weapon design. It has the integrated communicator. I've got this little thing on the top. I call it this is my phase trip, and it turns the beam purple. It gets little lightning. It can smoke a hole through a person on the heavy stun setting.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Now I want to show about these criminals. You just made them sound way more interesting.
He's
like really into his tools.
They must have all died because Quark didn't. New fan theory. Quark doesn't get captured because he kills the rest of the mercenaries or has them killed.
Yeah,
so that they can't talk. I totally believe that happening. Quark is very smart. I 100% believe he killed everybody. Speaking of killing people, they lock the tractor beam on the warp drive, on the freighter, which happens to have strong enough impulse engines that it can resist the tractor beam, and so they're just kind of locked in place with each other. If a starship is thrusting at full force and it's tractored to a station which doesn't have powerful engines, wouldn't it just drag the space station all over the place? You're coming with me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to ask you on that question.
That must not be how tractor beams work. They talk about gravitons, so I'm guessing it like increases where gravity points for the spaceship and is like making it fall towards the station or something. That has to be what happens with the gravity, the tractor beam. Because otherwise, if it's like a harpoon, the DS9's getting just dragged along behind that. That freighter was huge. It was enormous. That was a cool prop too. I loved that the model for the freighter. Man, I miss it when all the ships on TV were models. They just looked so much better.
Well, it ages. The season 1 ships age better than the season 7 ships, because season 7 they start doing all the CGI junk, and it looks horrible now in 2026. Yet this one, it looks perfect. It looks like they took a camera out and filmed a real spaceship out in space.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I liked it. So they lock a tractor beam on it, and Vantika calls ops, saying, hey, I'm going to jump into warp, which will kill everybody on board this freighter and blow up the Duridium. So you got to let me go. You got to give me what I want or I'll kill everybody. And Sisko tries to buy time while Dax uses technobabble to try and force a way to make the ship zap Vantika so that Bashir can take back control. This whole interplay, the writing was fantastic because at first, he says, hey, you've got this, this is my ultimatum, you have 1 minute, turns off the screen. No time for him to keep going. Dax and Sisko are talking about how they can fix it. Dax is working on it. Dax like, buy time. Vantika calls back. He doesn't wait for Sisko to call back. Vantika calls back in 1 minute and says, hey, what is it going to be? And say, we're prepared to release a tractor beam. How do I know? And he goes, you are folding way too easy. What are you planning? No tricks. And it was great because the bad guy is smart.
Yeah.
Is like, this is transparently false. You can't, look, man, I'm going to blow the ship up. Get ready to engage the warp drive. And then the mercenary behind him acts with intelligence, goes, I'm not going to kill myself for this, man. Yeah. What are you doing? And Vantika turns around and kills him.
Yeah, cold blood.
Just murders him. Is like, no more delays. I'm going to send it to warp now. And Sisko's like, okay. I'll turn off the tractor beam. He's been looking at Dax, like, and she's been shaking her head. And he looks at Dax and she nods. And he goes, Dax, do it. And it zaps the ship. And then Bashir goes, it zaps Bashir so hard he goes from bad acting mode to good acting mode. Because when he's coming out of it, I absolutely believe that he has just been zapped out of a fugue, or he has no idea where he was. He wakes up on this bridge. He doesn't know where he is. And they're like, lower the shields. He's like, what shields? What are you talking about? Where am I? And you have to lower the shields. And so he finds the unlabeled shield button, lowers the shields. They beam him off. And like, okay. Oh, yeah, he struggles because it implies that Vantika is about to take back control, right? They beam him back aboard. And then it's like, oh, it's okay. And he has like another pain. And Sisko doesn't wait to see who comes out in charge. He just shoots him. I love it. Just stuns him. Go to sleep, Julian. Just go to sleep. Go to sleep, Grandma.
I don't know why. Every time Bashir got shot, I just kept imagining that scene from Wrathacon where the captain vaporizes himself. I'm like, what if Sisko just vaporized Bashir?
Vaporized Bashir.
The wrong button.
Do you think that's happened in Starfleet? They go to stun somebody and he accidentally uses like the disintegrate setting and just vaporizes the guy.
I don't remember that happening, but you would think that would happen. Never, like, you think there'd be phaser
There's got to be
accidents.
there has to be like a phaser accident manual at Starfleet Academy. I imagine that.
I was thinking about this. How do you think phasers work? Because
they're magic.
I think there must be some kind of predictive aiming on it, because you cannot.
Yes.
Let me tell you, we both shoot guns. There's no way you can aim pointing out in front of your chest with one
without
hand.
a sight. Yeah.
Yeah. So there has to be some
The only thing I think of is it's tracking your eyes and seeing where your eyes are pointing.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And it must have, I think, some kind of thing in it where it will not shoot people that it knows are your allies in some sense. It must have some kind of sense of that.
Maybe,
but
I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's a great theory. What you just said. Maybe it is reading your face in some way, and if
that's the only thing I can think of,
it can tell by your face, like who reading your facial expression, who your allies are, who your enemies are.
It just has a sensor that
it
just. I think it's way simpler than that. I think it's literally just going, okay, facial. Okay, I see his eyes. I'm tracking his eyes. He's looking. I can see in front of me. He's looking at that object. We will target the beam at that object. I think that's all it is for the handheld phaser. The phaser rifles actually have sights on them. Some of them do.
Yeah. Phasers, and I gets goofy because phasers really do start just turning into guns, especially
when they're incredibly super powerful. Like we see them vaporize whole chunks of buildings and stuff. In Frame of Mind, Riker has a line where he's like, I've just set it to level whatever wide beam. That should be enough to vaporize a quarter of this building. Not destroy, vaporize. That implies an enormous amount of energy in that little hand weapon. I imagine you can shoot that once, maybe twice, and then it's just drained. But that's an enormous amount of energy in that weapon. It's incredibly powerful, and the little piddling, there's a little hole in me, that happens all the time. That must be just a low setting to like, this is the kill setting, but we use this to save energy. And then like later they're like, oh, we can't break through this bulkhead. Like Bajoran phasers must be just garbage. Because in the queue list, that's geranium composite alloy. It'll take you an hour to burn through. It's like, okay, go get a Starfleet phaser. Yeah. go get a grown-up phaser, man. Get this Bajoran crap out of here.
So this isn't a nitpick, because I think however you set your universe up, as long as you are consistent with the rules, I'm okay with it. So the idea that weapons need to be controlled by people's hands in Starfleet, I'm fine with it as long as you're consistent. Yeah. But the reality is, in Star Trek, we see that they have anti-gravity devices that very small machines can be anti-gravity. You could just have like balls in your pocket.
Like a phaser drone.
Yeah, exactly. And you just throw these drones up in the air and they fly around and get your enemies. Like,
yeah. You designate targets. We see that they have a brain machine interfaces that work fairly well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So designate target 1, 2, 3, engage, stun setting.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not as interesting of a show.
No,
that would be a very interesting. That would be a very interesting novel, and it would be much more science fiction, much more interesting. Looking at this technology, what is this technology doing to humanity? It'd be almost like a Peter F. Hamilton novel. If you haven't read him, he's really good at world building, and he builds some very fascinating worlds around high technology. And I recommend him strongly. I think you should read his stuff. I'll give you some recommendations after the podcast, but
all right. Well, it is like a balance though, because if you're watching something, like you said, it's a difference in a novel, because if you're watching something visually, the more you take the humans out of the experience of what you're watching, the less interesting it gets.
Yes.
Because you're not relating to it. And that is a tough balance for Star Trek. Because like we've talked about before, the ships would fly themselves. Like
mostly, yeah. You basically, I want to fly here, and it goes.
Yeah, 3/4 of the crew you would not need, But who's gonna watch a show with 5 people?
The Enterprise D has a crew of 1,000. It needs a crew of a few hundred to run. It just has a crew of 1,000.
Yeah. You probably need more engineers than anything. Just people fixing stuff.
Yeah, just to keep things running. Yeah, for sure. And we see that like Voyager's a small ship, but it's not a tiny ship. Like it's maybe 3/4 the size of the original Enterprise. And the original Enterprise carries, if I'm remembering this correctly, in the original series, 430 people, 432 people, something like that.
Right to me. Yeah.
Voyager carries 130 to 150 people. And is 2/3 the size. So there's a lot more automation on Voyager than there is in the original series. So we do see some of that automation stuff kicking in as they figure things out.
Were they meant to have a doctor?
Voyager?
That's a perfect thing. Like you in reality would not need to have a doctor on board.
No, they have a doctor. They have a doctor in the first episode. He dies when
that was my question. Did they originally have a doctor?
Yeah, they did. Man, you need to watch Voyager again.
But the hologram kind of proves you don't actually need a doctor.
Yeah. And well, it proves it because it's also Robert Picardo, and he's a spectacular actor.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're getting sidetracked again, man. We got to finish the episode. Okay, so let's see, where were we? They've captured Bashir again. They shot him. And so Dax beams the cells out of him into like this little capture device.
Infirmary.
Why didn't they beam the virus out in Babel again?
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
Because this
anytime there's like a biological element. The problem with the transporters of technology as a MacGuffin in your universe is it just eliminates the worry for biological things. You can just, we just won't beam the germs out. We'll leave those there, or beam the germs out of the body, whatever. because it's scanning them so fine molecularly that they're able to reproduce the person where they're supposed to be. I don't know. It's weird. But we also see people like jump into transporter beams and get beamed along. Like in Star Trek 4, she like gives Kirk a hug as she like jumps into the beam. Realistically, they should show up as like an amorphous blob on the transporter pad and both be dead, but it just beams them both in and they're fine. And then she's on the bird of prey, right? So transporters are magic and they work the way the writer of the episode wants them to work. And that's why they're incredibly inconsistent, even, 3 episodes later. It's oof.
So I have a crazy theory here. What if Jadzia failed? She did not get Vatica was his name? Vantika out of him. And the entire reason why Bashir becomes more likable is because Vantika accepts his fate. Because
he's a murderer?
Vantika accepts his fate that, okay, I'm just going to be this Bashir guy. And the reason why we like Bashir more is because it's actually Vantika.
It's actually Vantika.
For the rest of the show.
We'll see how he behaves in the next episode. So we've got another theory now. We've got the Cisco is responsible for the Enterprise D's destruction. That's not a theory, that's a fact. And then now we have is Bashir actually Vantika?
Yeah.
So she beams these, what do they call them? Glial cells out of him and put him in a containment device that frees Bashir. Kajata steps forward and goes, "Hey, are you remitting custody back to me?" And Cisco's like, "I mean, sure, what's left of him?" And she pulls out her phaser and vaporizes it in front of everyone.
Leaving a scorch mark.
Damaging part of what? And like nobody, like Cisco has like a wow, that was intense expression on his face. Like that's got to be a crime, discharging a weapon like that. Like you can't do that. But it's the old Westy vibe of it, and it's also playing into what I think is one of the themes of the episode is the vigilantism of transitioning from I'm a cop that's been pursuing this person for years and years, and now I'm just going to end this because he's too dangerous to live. Right. It's kind of where I got there. You got any other thoughts on the last act there before we move into our questions?
It's I like this episode. It's one of those episodes where I watched it and I was like, I don't know if Chris is gonna like this, and it's kind of low rated as a DS9 episode. Like the score on like IMDb is pretty low, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sucker for Matlock and procedurals because I was smiling. I had a good time. Had a fun time watching
this episode. Yeah. I think that the premise of it is a little weak for the most part. I think that might be why that and Alexander Siddig's acting are, I think, 2 reasons why this episode's rated maybe not as strong as it was. But I think the writing in this episode is very, very good. For the most part, everybody acts consistent with their characters. People are acting intelligently. Nobody wins because they were stupid. Their opponent was stupid. Everybody's trying to make smart choices. It's just the ending came because people were competent, not because anyone was stupid. And I much prefer stories like that.
I think I like movies and TV shows where a character is being possessed by another character and it gives us really interesting things to see an actor do. So there's a TNG episode where Troy and Data and O'Brien, right, get possessed by criminal aliens.
Yes.
And I love that because we get to see Troy acts like Marina Sirtis acts so different in the episode. She's really good in that. It's maybe
she's a great actress. Yeah,
favorite Troy episode. Because she's the leader, and normally Sirtis is Troy is not a leader at all, right? And all of a sudden we get to see her be this competent kind of criminal-minded, really intelligent kind of criminal-minded person who takes charge.
Mm-hmm.
And then like. I love the movie Face Off, where you get to see like Nicolas Cage does some of the most insane acting things you'll ever see an actor do.
Off. That is a notorious movie. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen a lot of it.
That's why I kind of liked. I know most people are not going to like Bashir and Siddig's performance in this, but I like to see him kind of try to be just this totally different weird person who's possessing him. And
I mean, good on him for
attempting his
attempting.
head at the end, and like when he gets the guy zapped out of his brain and he pulls his hair out, and like, I don't know.
Well, that was good. I have no qualms about the transition from Vantika back to Bashir when he gets zapped. I thought he did a fantastic job on that. I bought that completely. It was just the goofy, melodramatic way he was speaking that it didn't sell me. You know, it was like, what is this, 1930? Come on, man. I'm the bad guy, you know. I would have believed it better if he just talked with like an Al Capone accent. You know, I would have bought that more than this. Yeah, that's, I think, what did I have here? Oh. So when Julian wakes up, there's a reaction shot of both Sisko and Dax looking at Bashir, and Sisko is smiling. Dax looks positively delighted. And I'm going to give you Leela's take first. I'm going to give you Leela's take first, and then I'm going to tell you what I thought because it made me happy. Leela says that she thinks that Dax is just really proud that what she worked on brought this valuable member of the crew back, and she's just feeling good about her work. And that is probably what the writers wanted. I think Jadzia Dax is delighting in Bashir's pain. How do you like getting a headache all the time, buddy? You earned this. That's what I think. And that is my headcanon, and I'm sticking to it.
We actually see, it's interesting though, that we actually see a science officer do something that is pivotal to the plot.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about TNG. It's a science fiction show and there's no science officer. There's no science officer in the command crew.
Data's kind of the science guy, but he's operations. He's not sciences. Honestly, I think making Data operations was a mistake.
The science stuff in TNG is kind of done by multiple characters. Like it could be Geordi in one episode. It could be Data in one episode. It's mainly because those two guys, but
the only main character who wears blue is Dr. Crusher. Well, and Troy. But it's the medical side of the sciences. It's not anything else. That's so interesting.
I like in this episode, we get a science officer actually doing science stuff that helps move the narrative along.
Kind of harkening back to the original series too, where Spock would save the day because he knew how to do all of the space science. So,
like if you're writing, if you're putting the plot out, she is like the Spock of the show. If you think about it,
she is. Yes.
As far as moving the narrative forward,
that's who she's supposed to be. What if Spock was fun and kind of hot? That's Jadzia Dax. That's Jadzia Dax. It's what is the opposite of Spock? And she is likable. She's playful. She's female. She is really anti-Spock, and she's great. Yeah, she's anti-Spock, but she's still Spock because she has this very deep grounding because of the symbiote
universe.
The universal, and also a social grounding because she's been so many people. And Spock has that because he's older than everybody else on the ship. Yeah, Spock in the original series is like 90 something. So,
is he that old? Wow.
Yeah, Vulcans live to be like what, 200 something, 250. However old Sarek died before his time because of the syndrome he had. I think Vulcans live like a quarter of a millennium.
Did he join Starfleet late? Because how can he not be a captain then? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you don't have a drive to be a captain, why would you be a captain, right? I mean, he was on according to the canon.
I mean, eventually becomes
the Enterprise is not his first ship, but he's been on the Enterprise for a while. He joins as a lieutenant commander under April, and then becomes by the end of Pike is Commander Spock, and he's the science officer, and then he's not a captain until the TOS movies, which is honestly a pretty reasonable rate of progression in a military. Sorry, totally not military. But,
totally not. Starfleet is not a military.
No, definitely not a military.
They have military ranks.
They cosplay as one. They cosplay as military, man. It's like a gaming guild. They're pretending. And they have weapons of mass destruction. It's totally fine. Let's see. The other note I have is that when Kajata vaporizes what's left of Vantika, I have a note that says this would be its own TNG episode. This would be the start of a TNG episode. Somebody shooting a consciousness, and then we would have to examine that. Is that murder? Did she murder a thinking being when she vaporized Vantika? Vantika's dead. We know that. Vantika's corpse is in the stasis chamber. No one's questioning that he's dead, but there was a Vantika consciousness that was self-aware and was controlling Bashir. They beam it out and she kills it.
Let me throw this at you.
Okay.
If Data is a life, considered a legal life, would it be murder if they blasted that little box running the program with Moriarty in it from TNG?
Yeah, it would be, because they're self-aware. If they consider Data alive, then Moriarty and the lady he made, they are both living aware things. They did Moriarty dirty in Picard as well. He's in Picard. Did you know that?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Picard is a very terrible show.
I enjoyed some of the member berries in that last season, but the rest of it is just the worst fiction.
There are just a few things that I think is
so
okay,
dumb.
but everything else is just, it's everything after all good things is Irumodic syndrome, man.
Yeah.
Every single thing. Yes, I include First Contact in that because Picard is just in an old folks home somewhere while Captain Riker is commanding the Enterprise D with 3 nacelles on it, man. That's what's happening.
I think we talked about this already, maybe in the first episode. I think Picard did more viewers, but a lot of these new Star Trek shows are doing less than 100,000 views. Nobody's watching them. So I don't
they're
know
making too
for.
many of them. They're for the people writing them.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with creating art for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to make money, you got to make Deep Space Nine again or The Next Generation again. And you can do
that's
it.
That's what I don't get. These shows aren't hard to make. Like,
well, you
Voyager,
can do it. You can do a.
Deep
I don't
Space
mind.
Nine,
They want
Generation.
things to be grittier. They want things to be grittier, right? They want the stakes to be higher. I don't mind that necessarily, as long as you do it in a way that's respectful to the intellectual property. Look at, you can do a good science fiction show and have it be super popular. Look at The Expanse. The Expanse was hugely popular. It's a fantastic show. It's dark. There's a lot of grit in there, but there's also hope in it. And the preaching it does is not preaching at you, shouting it from the rooftops. It is, this is what's happening. There are parallels to things that happen today. What do you think about that? Or the preaching is done as, this thing that is controversial in today's world is just normal in the future, which is the way Star Trek used to do it. And that's fine. That's the perfect way to present an ideology, whereas modern Trek doesn't necessarily do that. Whatever ideology they want to talk about, they sacrifice the plot in order to do it. And they think that people don't have the attention span required to remember things. They're constantly expositing. There's so much exposition in modern Trek. Instead of they never trust the audience.
Yeah.
The characters are not likable. I mean, there are some likable characters, but a lot of times the characters aren't very likable.
Well,
and
I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
But the character thing I want to hit on, that I think is the biggest thing I don't like about it, is the characterization. I don't think these modern writers can write like stoic, highly intelligent, stoic characters that are really in control of themselves and don't speak in modern, cynical sarcasm all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what bothers me the most, is the characters don't feel like these really competent Star Trek type characters.
Have you watched Strange New Worlds yet?
No.
Okay. I think you will like Pike. He is a very good blend of Kirk and Picard. I think you will like his character. There's a lot of bad writing in it, but I think out of any of the new Trek, I think you should give Strange New Worlds a shot. you're going to hate a lot of the episodes, but there's going to be some that you like, and it's going to give you happy Star Trek feelings, right? It has a lot of the flaws that we've talked about in New Trek, but there's some stuff that makes you go, hey, I remember liking Star Trek, and it's good, right? So I think you should give it a shot. Maybe that'll be our first sidetracked, is we can watch the first episode of Strange New Worlds and do a podcast about that.
I was going to say, you could pick the best episode for me to watch.
Well, obviously the musical episode.
Yeah.
I know you will hate that one. I loved it.
Yeah,
you will hate it. You will absolutely hate it. I loved it.
Abomination for me.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Klingon singing K-pop is hilarious. Anyway, sidetrack over. For this episode, did we have a singular ethical dilemma that defined this episode?
So I think it's that vanity creates a weakness of character, and that a vain person is easily manipulated by appealing to their vanity. And despite one's narcissism, feeling an intense need to survive, we all end up vaporized in dishes in the end anyways.
I like it. That's good. I like it. I had already touched on this. I think it's one of the big themes is just about the transition from following the rules to breaking the rules when it's time to try and talking about when you're trying to figure out when that is with not Vantika, Kajata, because she kind of goes from I'm a 20-year Cobb veteran to I'm Batman at the end of the episode. So that was interesting. And also, there's the buddy cop movie in the middle of it between Starfleet and Bajor that I really, really want to see. And it's, Primin and the Changeling needs to happen. I think that's the other ethical dilemma is why didn't that happen? What is stopping us from making this show?
We're going to bring back UPN. We're going to bring back Moesha and Brandy and all the... UPN was the strangest television station. It was like, we're going to appeal to the urban market primarily, but our number one show is going to be Star Trek.
Hey, you know what? It worked. It lasted. That network lasted for a long time. It lasted for a long time.
Not long
enough. Well, I mean, it didn't die because UPN died. It died because streaming started. There were Netflix, and then streaming started, and that is what really killed UPN.
UPN died long before streaming. Yeah, it became like My CW. It like split up, and they sold parts of it off. No, UPN was a failure, honestly.
Well, it wasn't Star Trek's fault. It must have been the other stuff on the.
It network. Literally wasn't Star Trek. Star Trek was always their number one show. They should have just bought as Voyager. Much science fiction and just syndicated it on UPN. They could have been the Sci-Fi Channel when Sci-Fi lost their way and started playing professional wrestling. No shade, Sci-Fi. Matt. I know you love professional wrestling. Not on my science fiction channel. Wrestling didn't kill sci-fi. It's all like the ghost shows and nonsense they started doing. Reality TV is what killed every station. Let's be real.
Reality TV killed a lot of stuff because a lot of our regular shows are written like the reality television shows, and it's all about the giant drama and the reveals for the TikTok views, right? So everything's a reality television show. By the way, folks, reality television is not reality. It's scripted.
Yeah.
It's a secret. Don't tell anyone.
Yes. They're very formulaic, but people watch them for whatever reason. I don't understand why. I guess just people also love going to McDonald's, and they'll show like McDonald's. Those shows are much cheaper to make than Star Trek, sadly. Yep. Hey, maybe AI will help us with that in the future. These shows will be cheaper to make. Trying to look on the bright side here. Trying to be glass half full.
I'm making a face. Matt's laughing at me. I don't like AI. I think bad things are going to happen from it. If you had to delete one scene, which scene would it be?
This was really, really, really tough. Because it's such a tightly woven tapestry, it's hard to pull just one of the strings. And there's no scene in this that is particularly bad to me. Like I said, I like Sadig's goofy acting.
Mm-hmm.
I had to dig deep, and in reality, I wouldn't delete this, but I guess the scene where Cisco dresses down Primin, just because I don't think Cisco really has motivation to be as angry at him as he is.
Avery Brooks has motivation though. He just likes being angry.
I'm digging deep on. In reality, it's a fine scene. There's nothing all that wrong.
Yeah, I like that scene. I like that scene a lot. But I think I want to say the bad acting at the end, but the problem is it's so central to the plot, you cannot delete that scene, even though it's bad. I think the only scene you can really delete without, I mean, there's yours, which I didn't think about, but I was thinking where she falls over the balcony, like that set in there, you could remove that scene and just be like, hey, there's been a medical emergency. Kajada is injured. And then it doesn't eliminate Kajada as a suspect. So it kind of hurts the procedural a little bit, but it doesn't hurt the overall story. Right? I think you could delete that scene if I had to delete one.
If you wanted to keep Kajada as a suspect, that would be the way to do it. Because you'd be like, oh, did she hurt herself kind of thing, you know? So yeah, I like your
yeah. So
if you wanted, that's
the only
thing,
way
though,
I thought about.
If you do that, you're reshaping the narrative of the episode. This episode is so tight.
You could do that without changing really any other dialogue. I mean, you have to add like one little thing in, but you could still do it and remove that scene. It would make it a slightly weaker episode, but removing that scene, I think it changes the least about the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to do as much changing. What was your favorite scene?
It's not your favorite scene. It's probably close to your least favorite. But I'm just a weirdo. Everything with Bashir and the Bashir Vatica that's on the freighter with the criminal helmsman guy, I think Durag or whatever his name was.
Durag, I think. Durag. You call him Durag?
What up, yo? He holds his phaser sideways.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I don't know. I like that whole scene. I like the way the criminal guy talked. I love the set. I love Bashir's goofy talking. The violence is just so different. So yeah, that was my favorite.
Fair enough. I think that sequence was really well done. I thought that was some of the best writing in the episode, was that end part there. I thought it was really well done. I think my favorite scene was actually just the whole Primin arc, where I think the best one is when he's apologizing to Odo to set everything up. I don't know. It just gave me good feelings in there. My second favorite scene is the "It's Good to Want Things" scene. Just because I thought that was really well done as well, where it was, Quark showing us how to be a pervy weirdo without being hated like Bashir is, which I think is important there. Well, this is going to be an easy one. On the Senior Chief Petty Officer Miles Edward O'Brien official scale of torture, how badly was O'Brien tortured in this episode? Scale of 0 to 4 lights.
So I went 0.5 lights. He's probably, because remember, he's with his family, right? For his aunt's or his mom's or somebody's 100th birthday. And he's probably eating his sister-in-law's disgusting potato salad, which she makes by hand because she refuses to use a replicator. And it's got weird celery or something in it, some radish that he doesn't like. So I went 0.5 lights.
I actually put 1 in here, and it's because he's worried about being replaced by the Chief Primin.
Oh, yeah, that's a great answer. That's so
just
that's
one
good.
light, just one light.
Cole Meany is getting 1 light.
Cole Meany is getting 1 light. They couldn't get O'Brien, so they tortured Cole Meany instead.
Yeah.
Somebody who looks like O'Brien has to suffer. Who was the main character of this episode?
I think Bashir. I think the episode is about humbling Bashir.
I agree. I thought at first maybe it was Kajada, but she doesn't really drive the plot forward enough to be the main character. I think it's Bashir, and I think the biggest supporting character is probably Odo in this one because he moves the plot a lot as well.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
But Bashir's definitely the main character. So obviously this has to be my favorite episode so far because it's about my favorite character. My favorite character, Vantika.
Oh, no.
All right, Matt.
That's what Chris
give me your overall score. 0 to 5 stars.
I'm overrating it, but I gave it 3. I had a fun time. I watched it and I was like, I'm giving this a 3, and I know it probably doesn't deserve it, but whatever. It's my score and I enjoyed it, so I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3.1. I thought it was a little bit better than average. It could have gotten all the way up to a 3.5 if Alexander Siddig's acting was a little bit better. But on the whole, I'm a big fan of good writing, and there's a lot of good writing in this episode, so I liked it. Right?
Yeah.
This was above average. And again, reminder everybody, 3 is an average episode because it's right in the middle. So Matt thought it was average. I thought it was a little bit above average. I like this episode. I would rewatch this episode. I would rewatch this episode. You're 0.1 tougher on the score. Get out of here.
Historically, I'm pretty much lower than you and our guests.
Yeah. Well, you don't think perfection is possible, and I agree with you, but I think that you can get pretty close to perfection.
Yeah, Emissary was about as close. I forgot what I gave Emissary, I think, but Emissary was...
You gave it a 4. I think you gave it a 4 out of 5. I gave it a 4.5.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Emissary was great, eh? That was a good one.
Now we can watch the next episode. This is great.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening, everybody. This has been a long side trek with Chris and Matt talk about that. We'll see you next time.
Adios.